And we can see that market is moving up. We're about to go and hit that liquidity, consume it. And as I said, if we start consuming it before we get there, and that's where I'm sort of in front of my screen being quite, reactive. Because if you do start consuming the first layer, my take profit is on 1976. As a reminder, I'll move it up, literally. So we can see that we've broken consume, as you can see from the volume transacted here, consume that liquidity. And as I said, we're entering that sort of low volume node. It doesn't mean we're going to go through it now, but I've moved it a little bit to 109.80, my target. So I was clearly in front of it, but I'm aiming for this pocket here. And we'll see where this goes to. There we go. So that has been taken, the 109.80. And as I said, now we are on into that sort of low volume node, and the 109.92 could easily be the next target, because that push through that limit orders, through those resting orders who appeared and got consumed and disappeared, could usually sort of initiate, this low volume node, sort of, volume transacted, as it's very often the case once you get into a low volume node. It could just reverse, go back to the next day, or as we know, it's not a necessarily something that happens straight away. But if we look at the overall sort of different scenarios that we had at the beginning of the day, which was again either going up this way or just hanging around in here, fitting in the little low volume node within Friday's profile, or reversing completely onto Friday's law. Are they going to go to the low side of things, which we could have done, but instead, the bullish scenario is effectively what seems to be happening. Again, this is part of the equation. I'm also looking at the footprint, and the footprint is quite misleading at the moment, because you get this huge, because it did consume that 800, 1600 altogether, effectively resting orders. On the bid side, it sort of it shows a footprint which looks super positive. And I'm looking at it on another screen, namely this one here. That's what I'm looking at. So if you look at it here, clearly we've got an increase in volume. You can see for this specific bar, we've got 3,972 contracts. The delta is superb, it's 2,000. So we go from minus 24 to 2,000. So it's quite, it's 2,328. So that's pretty much what was transacted. Obviously, the session delta has increased tremendously. It's been positive, the actual session, the whole overall session delta, sorry, but it has suddenly increased, obviously. So, but you can see this push is continuing. And if you were on here, which I'm not doing, but if I was to project chart number 4, which I could do, we would see that pretty much what we're looking at on several charts. So this is what I'm doing here, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. So I want to project on this chart all the monthly, there we go, all the monthly TPO and volume profile, low volume node. So you can see we are right in it, as I mentioned. We can see it keeps pushing up. So getting to my target, which is 109.92, is certainly not something overly crazy. Let's pause and a little bit, we'll see. So effectively, when we look at the low volume node, we went a little bit into it halfway through, and then there's some sort of a reverse. We'll see where it goes, but again, really it was to show how we could have a good entry or a decent entry and a decent way out just by looking at a conjunction of confirmations from the book, from the volume profile, from all the different areas that we've drawn, and from size of resting order in the book. So wish you all the best, and until next time. Bye.